Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're diving into something super fascinating. How a dormant 30-year-old internet standard has literally been brought back to life to solve, hands down, the biggest payment bottleneck in artificial intelligence. We're looking at the x402 protocol. It's an open standard that's basically turning the internet's original architecture into a native payment layer, specifically built to let AI agents transact totally on their own.
Okay, so let's start with what is probably the most famous unused status code in internet history. HTTP 402, or payment required. Look, everyone knows HTTP 404, right? The classic page not found. But way back in 1991, the original architects of the web reserved 402 as a placeholder. The vision was actually pretty simple. Servers should be able to tell clients, hey, this resource costs money, and instantly trigger a payment. But it just sat there, completely unused for over 3 decades. Why? Well, because traditional finance, credit cards, bank wires, they were just way too slow and expensive for internet speed micropayments.
So fast forward to today, and the x402 protocol finally made this a reality. In September of 2025, industry heavyweights like Coinbase and Cloudflare launched the x402 Foundation. And they were quickly joined by Stripe, Google, AWS, Visa, the whole shebang. They finally flipped the switch on this dormant code. And the adoption? Absolutely explosive. By 2026, the protocol was already processing over 100 million autonomous, agent-driven transactions. But, why did it suddenly take off right now?
Well, that brings us to part 1, the AI dilemma. Let's look at why machines just can't use credit cards. We've got a bit of a modern crisis on our hands. We have these brilliant, autonomous AI agents that can reason, they can write code, but they literally cannot fill out a credit card form or manage API keys. Think about it. If your AI agent needs to ping a paid weather API or pull real-time financial data to finish a task for you, it can't just type in a 16-digit Visa number. It can't click subscribe. The traditional internet was built for human eyes and human wallets. Those traditional payments come with hefty fees that make micropayments totally impossible. I mean, charging 1 cent on a credit card costs more in fees than the actual payment. Plus, it takes days to settle and requires identity verification. It completely breaks the flow of an autonomous machine. But the x402 protocol? It enables a true machine web. It lets a machine use stablecoins like USDC to pay fractions of a cent with near-instant settlement and absolutely zero protocol fees or signups.
It's kind of like a vending machine. When you walk up to get a snack, you don't sign a monthly contract, you don't hand over your email address, and you definitely don't talk to a sales rep. You just see the price, drop in the exact amount, and boom, you get your chips. X402 does exactly this, but invisibly, at the protocol layer of the web. It takes this abstract idea of machine-to-machine payments and turns it into that familiar, instant action, just without the human bottlenecks.
Which leads us to part 2, decoding x402. Let's break down the economic handshake.
So how does a piece of software actually pay another piece of software without us getting involved? It's a beautifully simple 4-step HTTP cycle. Step 1, the AI agent sends a normal request to a paid API. Step 2, instead of getting denied, the server intercepts it and returns our famous HTTP 402 code, along with a little data packet detailing the price in USDC and where to send it. Step 3, the agent sees the cost and programmatically signs a stablecoin payment. And finally, Step 4, a facilitator settles the payment on-chain, the agent retries the request with a proof of payment, the server verifies it, and instantly hands over the data. It's a perfect atomic loop.
Now, the real secret sauce here is something called EIP 3909. This is the technical magic making it all work. It allows an AI agent to pay in USDC without having to manage complex blockchain gas fees itself. Look, if an AI had to hold Ethereum just to pay the gas for a tiny USDC transaction, the whole system would be way too clunky to scale. But with EIP 3909, the agent just signs an authorization basically saying, yep, I agree to pay this fraction of a cent. The agent never even touches the blockchain directly. The whole process stays cleanly at the web layer.
And that's where payment facilitators come in. They are the crucial bridge between the web's HTTP protocol and the actual blockchain settlement. The facilitator takes that signed authorization from the agent, pays the gas fees, executes the transfer, and gives the server a verifiable receipt. Facilitators, like the one Coinbase provides for free to developers, mean that anyone building on the web can accept crypto payments without having to build any complex blockchain infrastructure on their backend. Literally, they just write 1 line of code to require payment, and the facilitator handles the rest. It's a massive game changer.
And this isn't just theory, folks. It is live right now across multiple major chains with near instant finality. Just look at these speeds. Base settles in about 2 seconds.
Solana achieves finality in roughly 400 milliseconds. I mean, blink and you'll miss it. This speed is exactly what makes HTTP native payments viable after 30 long years. When an AI agent is waiting for an API response to finish a job, it can't sit around waiting days for a credit card to clear, or even 12 seconds for an Ethereum mainnet block. Sub-second settlement is what makes this economic handshake virtually invisible.
Moving on to Part 3, building the $15 trillion machine economy.
With this foundational plumbing in place, we're looking at an entirely new economic paradigm, one where machines are actually the primary buyers and sellers. X402 turns payments into invisible infrastructure, letting developers charge purely per request, without the nightmare of traditional billing. Imagine using an AI model where you don't pay $20 a month. Instead, your agent just pays a tiny fraction of a cent for every single query it runs. Or think about an Internet of Things device streaming data and getting paid instantly for every packet. Or even an autonomous trading bot buying real-time market data without a human ever having to sign an enterprise API contract. X402 makes this kind of granular, high-frequency commerce economically possible for the first time.
But wait, there's a missing piece, right? When you combine X402 for payments with something called ERC 8004 for trust, that's when you get fully autonomous marketplaces. Because it's one thing to have the payment rails, but these agents also need to know who they're buying from. Like, is this data feed actually reliable? Is this other agent going to rip me off? ERC 8004 basically acts as a decentralized trust and identity layer, kind of like a reputation score for AI agents. So, an agent uses ERC 8004 to find a trusted service, and then immediately uses X402 to pay for it. Together, they create a complete decentralized commerce stack for artificial intelligence.
To give you a sense of the sheer scale we are already seeing, by the end of 2025, X402 was processing an annualized volume of $600 million across over 100 million transactions. Think about that. That is not some small testnet experiment. That is real, massive adoption happening right now, largely driven by developers who are just sick and tired of managing API key debt and rate limits. And because X402 is open source, literally anyone can deploy a facilitator and anyone can slap a paywall onto their service. It's creating these massive network effects that are compounding at lightning speed.
As we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with a question to chew on. As autonomous machines gain their own spending power, how will the very architecture of online commerce evolve? For decades, we've built an internet for human eyeballs and human credit cards. But as X402 standardizes machine-to-machine micropayments, we are stepping into an era where software can independently negotiate, purchase, and consume resources at the speed of light. So, what happens next? Thank you so much for joining me to unpack this incredible evolution in internet infrastructure. Keep exploring, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.